some of the fastest wind speeds being recorded right now across Pullman and Spokane. Some of our strongest wind gusts ever recorded in Spokane just occurred moments ago. We are under high wind warnings until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Going to be windy all day long, but the worst of it is happening right now. So if you don't have to go outside at the moment, you should probably hunker down for about an hour or so and let the worst of these winds pass through, because this would be the moment that we are likely going to get our most power outages and tree damage reported across the region. What you're seeing on Doppler radar is basically just the high winds and some of these strong showers and even thunderstorms in some cases now blasting through Kootenai County. Not as much rain over Spokane as we just had minutes ago. But as we follow things down towards the Palouse, we have this, a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued until 6:15 a.m. for destructive 80-mile-per-hour winds. That is going to be incredibly dangerous for this region. That would include Pullman and Moscow, Pomeroy and Lewiston, and other areas just to the east on the Idaho side of the Palouse. Now, this is not necessarily for thunderstorms, but we're using this type of alert to get the messaging out that the wind speeds are going to be almost catastrophic in this region in the next 15 and 30 minutes. So I plot this dashed line to show where those highest wind speeds currently are being felt. It is just west of Pullman. So in the next 5 to 10 minutes, expecting 70 to 80 mile per hour winds in Pullman and Moscow. Please do not go outside right now. Please wait this part of the storm through, because at 80 miles per hour, it is now likely that we're going to see trees get uprooted with that kind of wind speeds. Most of us will start to see 70 or 75 mile per hour winds in eastern Washington as our warning goes until 4 o'clock. Wind damage and power outages now being reported. Avista now reporting over 20,000 people without power as of right now. That number probably going to grow as our wind speeds continue to accelerate. Just minutes ago, Spokane International Airport reported a 75 mile per hour wind. You see Coeur d'Alene just updated live now at 66 miles per hour. At 75 miles per hour, that is the fastest wind speed ever recorded in Spokane history. That actually beats out the windstorms from 2021 and 2015. So this is now a new record for fastest wind speeds ever reported in Spokane. That's why this is turning out to be so dangerous for our region right now. Tree damage and power outages is now occurring and imminent for our region. Additionally, this windstorm is also producing blizzard-like conditions for the Cascades and the mountains. So if you have travel plans to the west side, please also postpone that for a day. The red shaded area, those are blizzard warnings for over a foot of snow for Snoqualmie Pass with 50 mile per hour winds simultaneously. That is also very dangerous to be traveling over the passes today. That being said, all the focus is in on the wind speeds here. So let's dive into Spokane County. So we have this fire pegged somewhere between Cheney-Spokane Road and Marshall Road. So it's not too far away from Highway 195, probably just a mile or two off of the highway itself. The winds are out of the southwest, so that would blow that smoke towards downtown Spokane if it starts burning any more aggressively. You can see obviously the localized smoke in the trees there, but it hasn't necessarily picked up all the way into Spokane just yet. Something to add here is the strength of these winds. The observations that we have around this point, funny enough, the closest observation is out at Spokane International Airport. Wind gusts of 17 miles per hour, not terribly severe, and sustained winds have been below 15 miles per hour. So thankfully that is not too aggressive, but it's not outright calm. So obviously there is at least some kind of risk when it comes to these wind speeds as strong as 21 miles per hour towards the southern portions of the county where the terrain is a little bit flatter. In the last couple minutes, the thunderstorms have really started to explode over northern Washington. In fact, we just got a flash flood warning for the Swalwilla Fire burn scar in southern Ferry County. That particular storm right here has just been sitting there for the last 30 to 60 minutes. Because of the heavy rain, specifically in that area, flash flooding and even debris flows and mudslides would be likely over the high terrain area. Now, luckily, this is going to be in between a lot of the area cities. So the flash flood warning, which is for this corner of Ferry County, not affecting any of the cities directly, just the high terrain mountain areas. So just avoid that area, especially if there are any crossroads that go in between there. But you see at least one such thunderstorm in that part of the county that would be heading towards Inchelium, and this is the first storm that just went out of Nespelem from the last couple hours. Meanwhile, Grant County, this thunderstorm is really picking up steam. Look at all the lightning strikes associated with this. This just passed through Cooley City, starting to propagate a bit southward. So in Moses Lake, you're going to start to hear the rumbling of thunder within the next few minutes here. If it does hold its steam, would actually arrive within the hour. That is one such city that is going to be affected by this storm. If it wants to go any farther to the east, would start getting closer towards Odessa, but we're going to track that via Doppler radar. Meanwhile, here in Spokane, mostly cloudy above my head, maybe just a little bit of some sprinkles near the Cheney area, but no storms just yet. We have to keep an eye on all those storms to the north and to the west of us to see if they are going to arrive and hold their strength by the time they arrive. It has been crazy hot to start out September here. In fact, it's been the hottest it's been all summer long, and it took until meteorological fall to get there. 3 straight record highs, but now we'll see the heat just back off a little bit, but still very hazy as it appears right now over Coeur d'Alene. So let's start with the heat again this morning, with heat advisories going for one more day. Temperatures just backing off a little, but still between about 92 and 100 degrees this afternoon after hitting 3 straight record highs or tying record highs. And that's where we were yesterday at 98, officially tying the record from 1988. But funny enough, these 3 days are now the 3 hottest September days on record in Spokane history, and our records go back to 1881. That is how crazy hot it's been to start this month. Now today, still at about 95 or so we keep our weather impact alert day today. Again, stay hydrated, stay cool out there. But the hydration a little bit more important today also because of the air quality concerns, as you'll see, because that is now the secondary impact that we are tracking very closely. But there are those high temperatures today, not quite as extremely hot as it was to start the month. 94 degrees will be shy of the record highs this time around, but even that is still decently hot for the region. Now we move over to air quality. The air quality alerts did actually get expanded as of yesterday to now cover the entirety of eastern and central Washington. I also plot some of the major and active fires that are burning in the region, about a half dozen of them or so in northeastern Washington, now the primary culprit when it comes to the air quality concerns across the region. They started to burn even more aggressively yesterday due to the hot and unstable conditions. That is still the case for today, hence the red flag warnings in this region. While not necessarily very windy, it is just so hot and unstable that those towers of the smoke clouds find that instability in the atmosphere and they just start to rip. And that's what we saw from last night. These are the smoke plumes from all of these fires, just pointing out a handful of them. But notice how they are gently pouring that smoke to the southeast, directly over Spokane County. So while the worst of it is definitely Stevens and Pend Oreille County in terms of air quality, we're definitely seeing some air quality drops here as well. Current AQI listed as 127, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Even I noticed it a bit in my throat yesterday and still this morning. So again, drink more water and just keep those windows closed. If you have an air purifier, that very much recommended for today and tomorrow. Because guess what? The smoke is not going anywhere. In fact, it might even get worse. There's a little bit of these purple shades on the modeling, especially for Stevens County, which is currently reporting unhealthy air quality. So we're monitoring that very closely for the next day or so. But the worst of the heat appears to be behind us. But high temperatures will still be in the low 90s through this Saturday. Looks like we'll add yet another half an inch or full inch of snow with this batch, which is hovered right around Highway 2. You can follow it almost straight west to east between Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, Reardon, Davenport, all getting some decently heavy snowfall. As we zoom in a little bit more slightly in the metro, it's these dark blue shaded areas. That's the heaviest of the snow. That's the stuff that's going to accumulate. So while some road conditions, even if they got the once over with a plow, You're going to have a bit of some fresh snow between now and the next hour here. So if you're just about to get underway for your own commute, realize there's a ton of snowy and icy streets out there. Give yourself a little extra time to not only clear the snow off of your windshields, but to just drive a little bit slower than you normally would. This is some pretty serious snowfall, especially since this is kind of our first stab at accumulating snow this season, and it's going to stick around for a little bit. You can follow that through Highway 2. This is a road that can oftentimes be icy, especially with the numerous bridges and overpasses between Airway Heights, Reardon, and Davenport, so a decent batch of snow that's pushing towards Harrington. Meanwhile, over the Palouse, a separate cluster of snowfall, same effect. Again, darker blue shades representing some slightly heavier snow right through the core of Pullman and Moscow. Sounds like Highway 195 is kind of getting let off the hook for now, but realize that that snow that's over us in Spokane is going to travel southward down the highway in the next 2 to 3 hours. Because of this, winter weather advisories were added to Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and the Palouse. These go until 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. respectively. So effectively just affecting and impacting our morning commute. So just take it extra easy out there. Again, for most of us, this is our first accumulating snow of the season. Here's how our modeling handles it. It's a little bit behind in terms of that snowfall, but it has the right idea, showing that band of snow that's over us right now, progressing southward towards Pullman and Moscow by 9 to 10 a.m. After that point, we are done with the snowfall. For Spokane, we should be done by about 7 a.m. But remember, all the streets are very much icy, and it does impact the entirety of this morning's commute. But this is the last snowfall that we'll get today. Here were some of the measurements from yesterday up until midnight. Most of us got about 1 to 2 inches of snow. Spokane officially at 1.1 at the airport. Again, as of midnight, we're going to be tacking on more to that. But you see that Sandpoint, Deer Park, 2 to 2.5. Spirit Lake leading the way at 4 inches of snow from just yesterday.